Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to unfold an absolutely profound story. It's a narrative all about the ultimate frontier of human potential. We usually look up at the stars or out at massive technological leaps to find the next step in our evolution, right? But our source material today pulls us right back home. We're looking at that literal split second, that astonishing transmutation, when a human nervous system simply stops lying to itself.
So our tale actually kicks off by firelight. Picture this. We meet a mystic teacher named Zoran, and he's talking to his student Fletcher. The firelight is just dancing across Fletcher's face like living scripture. And Zoran tells him, look, the outer world, it's already been mapped. We've seen the corruption, the wars, the crazy economic extremes, and all those collective traumas. They've all shown us their hidden twins. But Zoran drops a truth bomb here. The real journey is just beginning. The mirror has to turn inward, because this is the exact critical juncture where profound teachings either die as just some abstract philosophy or they become flesh and absolutely transform a life.
And this brings us to an incredible artifact Zoran calls the Dragon's Mirror. Now, he makes it crystal clear to Fletcher, this is definitely not a tool for vanity. It is a ruthless optical instrument. It's not something you look into to check your hair, It's a lens that actively exposes our hidden twins. When you look into this mirror, you literally see all sides of your own nature, with the exact same luminosity. It forces all those high-minded philosophical ideas completely out of your intellect and slams them right into your lived, everyday reality.
Because when you actually gaze into that reflection, you see the part of you that is so exalted, sitting right smack next to the part that is entirely petty. You see the genius, and you see the coward, the lover, and the manipulator. What Zoran is doing here is revealing this ancient, universal wisdom. It perfectly echoes the core Taoist law of polarity and Dr. John Demartini's method. Both of these share the exact same assertion. Whatever hidden twin you flat out refuse to see in yourself, well, it's ultimately going to control you.
To really ground this, Zoran tells Fletcher a story about a man who spent his entire life raging against corrupt leaders. But then, this guy looks into the dragon's mirror and makes a pretty startling discovery. He realizes that, actually, he too betrayed his own word whenever it was convenient. He manipulated his own little kingdoms, his family, his team at work, even his social media feed, just to get an edge. And the moment both of those truths occupied the exact same space in his mind, with zero hierarchy, the emotional charge just collapsed. His nervous system didn't have to maintain this exhausting, fake story of absolute purity anymore. It could finally just exhale.
But the true trial of the mirror, the absolute most intense application of this principle, comes through a deeply, deeply emotional story. Zoran recounts this woman who came to him carrying something unimaginable, the death of her child. Her grief was just oceanic. Vast, overwhelming, entirely all-consuming. And in the mirror, she was asked to do something that honestly sounds almost impossibly difficult.
She was asked to find, with merciful honesty, where this totally unbearable event had actually opened up unforeseen doors. And she did. She found depths of compassion she had literally never touched before, this fierce clarity that stripped all the trivial nonsense out of her life, and a completely new capacity to stand beside other people in their pain without trying to fix it. And this is the true magic of the mirror. She did not deny the horror of losing her child, no way. She simply refused to let horror have the only voice. By holding both poles at equal weight, something inside her that had been just screaming for 3 straight years finally stopped, not because she was magically healed, but because her long, agonizing war with reality had finally ended. So in that incredible alchemical moment, when her psyche actually stopped splitting reality into salvation over here and catastrophe over there, a massive shift happened. The ancient Taoists called this returning to the one. Demartini calls it balanced perception. But Zoran, he beautifully describes it as growing eyes in the back of your heart. You suddenly become available for a much deeper rhythm, and you allow the cosmic breath to actually move right through your life.
But here's the best part. Zoran doesn't just leave Fletcher hanging with cool philosophy, he hands him the actual mechanics of the mirror. This is a real practical methodology that absolutely anyone can use to collapse their own lingering emotional charges. It's how you finally stop that exhausting, endless tug-of-war happening right inside your own nervous system.
The trial demands absolute honesty, though. Zoran breaks it down into steps. First, you pick an event that still triggers the heck out of you. You write at the top of a page, "This event has been," and then you draw a line down the middle for 2 columns. In one column, you relentlessly list out every single way this event damaged, diminished, or revealed your shadow. And in the other, you list every single way it served, refined, or awakened you. And here is the kicker. You need absolute equality. 10 points each, no cheating whatsoever. You keep going and you do not stop until the reactivity completely dissolves. Trust me, your body will let you know when you've hit the truth.
Now, Zarin gives Fletcher a huge warning here about a major pitfall. Most people totally fail this exercise because they fall into this trap of spiritual sleight of hand. Basically, they'll give the positive column these vague, abstract truths like, oh, I learned to be stronger, but then they give the negative column raw, visceral, concrete reality. Well, the Dragon's Mirror does not tolerate that imbalance. You have to be mercilessly honest. You have to grant equal, visceral, heavy weight to both the pain and the awakening.
And when you actually pull that off, when you successfully balance those columns, the mirror works its magic. That intense emotional charge just completely dissolves. A profound stillness literally takes over your body. Your breath drops way down into your lower belly, and silence suddenly appears exactly where all that reactivity used to live. It's a very real, physical, somatic release.
Then, and only from that place of total physical and emotional silence, do you ask the final question. This is a question that's been whispered to sagers and warriors for centuries. Now that I no longer need this event to be only good or only bad, what action does the Tao itself ask of me? And the amazing thing is, the answer that rises up from this state is going to be entirely clean. It's not driven by revenge, it's not spiritual bypassing, and it's definitely not performative virtue. It will simply be the necessary, natural next movement of the universe.
Back by the fire, Fletcher's eyes just brighten with this deep recognition. He gets it now. He understands how the spiral of reactivity actually stops using us and how we can begin to right it consciously. Look, outer revolutions, politics, economies, wars, they're going to continue their dance. But the individual who actually passes through the Dragon's Mirror, they become a literal node of conscious balance. As our story wraps up, we learn that these types of beings are actually quite dangerous to unconscious systems, yet they are entirely indispensable to the cosmos. They aren't sitting around waiting for the world to balance itself out. They literally are the balance, walking.
So, as the dragons watch from the unseen with ancient satisfaction, the mirror is waiting patiently for you. I want to leave you with this to really chew on today. What part of yourself are you still pretending doesn't exist? What sacred identity of yours would completely shatter if you admitted its exact opposite lives right there within you? The very next time you feel a massive surge of righteous fury, ask yourself, what hidden benefit am I entirely unwilling to see? Take a long, hard look in the mirror and see what reflects back.